Welcome back, class. Our guest this week, the CEO of Piaggio Fast Forward, Greg Lynn, comes to discuss how his company went from designing iconic vehicles to teaching robots how to move throughout the world, the success of the G1, T4, M1, N1, and, of course, our Mount Rushmore of fictional robots. All this and more in a Greg Lynn and the Rise of the Machines. Don't worry, the nice ones. Episode of the Fandalorians. Teachers by day, nerds by night.
That is the bell. Class is in session. Welcome to the Fandalorians podcast. Teachers by day, nerds by night. We remain the number one pop culture public. Already. Wow. It's late, guys. I'm messing this up. I'm trying to be professional, but I can't. I'm gonna get this though. Stay focused. We are the number one pop culture podcast by public school teachers. Every week, we bring you the latest, every week of Jace, the latest entertainment news, reviews, and live debates with a fun teacher twist. Proud members of the Unfiltered Studios Podcasting Network, lifelong friendships, banter, teaching stuff, trash talking. You can email us at the Fandaloriansmailbag@gmail.com, and you can text us at 631-494-3632. We get new listeners all the time, especially when we have a guest. Let's introduce ourselves real quick. My name is Mr. Richardson, fourth grade teacher, and the man who can't wait to ask our guests if thanking ChatGPT after asking it a question will save me from the technology uprising. He'll know. He's going to know what's going to happen. I feel like it's safe. I'm very friendly.
Politeness never hurts.
What?
No.
Of course. That's what we're doing. We're trying to be polite.
It's good habits. That's all.
That's what we teach people. That's how we do things. My other co-teacher, New York City public school teacher, and the man who can't come to grips with the fact that he is old, Mr. McDonald.
Yeah, I hit a new low light. I don't know. It's just a thing, but I just found out today. I told my students the year I started teaching, 2008, and my students were like, that was the year I was born.
That's brutal, man.
Ooh, that is kind of.
I'm not comfortable with that.
No, you shouldn't be. Well, I this year I have a kid who said, "You had my dad." I'm like, oh my gosh.
You know what? That does make me feel better.
Yeah.
Wait until they say, you had my grandpa.
No. I need to be done. It's year 26. I got to be done by that.
Gotcha.
And my other co-teacher, Mr. G, is back and he's finished another book.
Yep. I'm on book 62 for the year. As we're speaking, Mr. McDonald's wife is in the group chat over here chatting about our book club book.
I have lost my wife to literature.
Happens to the best of us. Wait, what real quick, what book are you guys reading actually?
We just finished the book. I just finished, but the one we were waiting for finished the book. The House in the Pines. It was not a murder mystery.
Oh, okay.
It sounds like it could have been.
It
will be when Netflix gets a hold of it again.
It could, you know what? It's a Reese Witherspoon book.
Oh.
And you know her deal.
What? Where it's going. And our guest this week, the CEO of Piaggio Fast Forward, Greg Lynn. I was terrified I was going to mess that up. Hey, Greg, how you doing?
I'm doing great, and I'm looking forward to this.
Thank you so much for coming on. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm going to need my question answered by the end, but we'll get to it. But before we get started, tell our fans and listeners a little bit about yourself.
Well, I don't want to do the whole backstory, but I was a kid in Northern Ohio, got to raise animals, which we get to record animals and turn the behavior into robotic behavior. So I'm totally into that. I love school. I loved every part of it, honestly, except maybe math, ironically, because
It's ironic.
you would think that I would be really good at that.
Well, now you can hire people to do the math for you.
That's true.
Exactly. I mean, I got good at math later. I was really good at geometry. That was also back in the days when we had classes where we learned how to draft and run machines and build projects and stuff. So that it was really a great time, kind of set me up for what I've done. I've worked in architecture, worked in industrial design. Fundamentally, I'm a designer of things. And because I was trained to design buildings, we really think about improving people's lives, whether we're building them a house or building a city hall or a museum, anything like that. We're always trying to leave the world a little bit better than we found it and make people happy with the spaces we designed. And I've applied that to the company where we make robots that are really here to help us and improve life rather than do the jobs people don't want to do.
Oh, that's great. I can't wait to talk to you more about that. Teachers by day, nerds by night. Let's do the teacher part, though. You love school. Did you have a favorite teacher as a kid?
I did. And it's pretty straightforward. When I was in grade school, I loved art class and I loved music. And there was one teacher who taught me both, Mrs. Wadlick. And she was also a bohemian, so she told all of us we were geniuses and amazing artists, and it gave me a sense of confidence to try things that I wanted to express. But yeah, I love art and design and music.
She's a listener, I'm sure, so I'm glad he said that. Teachers by day, nerds by night. What are you nerdy about? Obviously, we maybe can guess a few things, but what are you really nerdy about?
The same things I was nerdy about when I was a kid. So I used to sit around building these things called Soma blocks and Legos and things like that. I worked like crazy when I was maybe like 7, 8 years old to buy a Godzilla. I still collect Godzillas like crazy.
Nice.
I mean, I love Star Wars, but I got to think about Godzillas. And I really like to nerd out on all kinds of things that are both mechanical and also like built my own sailboat. I just really like to make things for myself.
Wow.
So, but yeah, I'm still very nerdy and I get to be a nerd all day long. So
now I know you spoke about Star Wars, and I heard a story how you actually got to meet Ewan McGregor. And my real question is, did he actually get to say hello there?
Well, so the company Piaggio, they own several motorcycle and scooter companies. So they make Vespa scooters and they make Moto Guzzi motorcycles. And I bet Ewan McGregor has done these series where he drives all the way from the top to the bottom of the earth, all the way around the earth. And he's a real passionate motorcyclist. So I actually met him and rode motorcycles with him. It'll be riding motorcycles with him again soon. And he's the nicest, most thoughtful person. I mean, he really is a total Jedi, by day.
Come on, he is Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah, no, he's really, really an amazingly. I mean, I live in Los Angeles part of the time and lived there a long time. Have known some actors. He's about the greatest, nicest one you could ever hope to meet.
Well, that's good to hear.
That makes me feel good too, just to know that he's an upstanding guy.
Oh no, he's really amazing. I mean, I'm sure he's not acting at all. I think that's just how he is.
That's amazing. That's awesome. All right, so we're going to talk to you. I have questions for you later, but first we want to get to our Mount Rushmore. We're going to have a little fun here. The question was, everyone in this group here came up with their Mount Rushmore of fictional robots. Just for fun, whatever criteria you wanted. I spent a lot of time today with the kids' quiet reading, so I could do this, and I'm just kidding. Sort of.
And I'm sure there's going to be tons of crossover between us.
There is. So instead of I think we should just say our whole entire 4 lists, all 4 of them instead of doing a round robin. That way, it goes a little quicker. McDonald, why don't you let you go first?
Let's just do it all at the same time. No.
I know, we all just mumble it all at the same time. All right. So if we are doing our top fictional robots, number 1 is probably going to be most number 1s. You got to go Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
Now, what I made sure to do, though, is I didn't want to make this one franchise heavy. So what I tried to do was take one robot from a lot of different things. So number 2, very quickly, and I know this is going to rub Mr. Richardson because it's one of his favorite shows as a kid because he used to make me watch it. I'm going to go with his favorite android. I'm going to go with Data from Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Jerk.
See? Now, number 3, I am going to go with my favorite animated movie of all time. I'm going to go with The Iron Giant. And if you haven't seen it, it's absolutely worth a watch. And then I had a kind of I had a toss up with the 4th position, and I wanted kind of like a fun, snarky robot. So I had it down to 2. So my honorable mention is going to be Johnny 5 from Short Circuit. But taking the 4th spot, I'm going to go with Bender from Futurama.
Okay.
All right, I like that. Greg, what do you think about his list?
It's a solid list.
Yeah.
It's a very solid. It's a very diverse list.
Yeah, he went to many.
Well, I
places.
tried to hit all the bases. Yeah.
I want to say Greg for last because he's gonna be I'm sure it'll be much more awesome.
Okay.
It's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, I know, right?
And that's
We
why I'm
always just
doing
steal
it.
all of ours. Be like, you mentioned them all.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Yeah. Yeah, Greg, you thought you were going to coast through this? Oh, no, we're making you work.
Or he's going to go so like genre niche, super specific that we've never heard of these robots.
But we're going to nod and act like we do. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be like, well, there was a Russian movie from the 1960s about a robot named, Olaf. Or
Probably you want to go?
Yeah, I'll go. So much like Mr. McDonald here, the number 1 contender, if we want to say it's the George Washington, is that like,
Well
would
played.
be Optimus Prime,
Yeah.
of course. Optimus Prime is the number 1 contender.
Okay.
Then I thought about all of the robots I picked, like I could go on about how they've, I don't want to say influenced my life, but how I've spent a lot of time with them. So number 2 is definitely R2-D2. Out of all of the droids in Star Wars, which droid holds the best droid? And there are other droids that I really like, but I think R2-D2 belongs on the Mount Rushmore of droids. Number 3, it's funny, Mr. McDonald, Yogi might agree with this one.
Yeah.
It's going to be Johnny 5 from Short Circuit. And the reason I picked Johnny 5, like I said, a connection, is that when I was a kid, I also loved to build with Legos and all those things. I had Connects, and I would build a Johnny 5 out of my Connects. Not Connects. I'm sorry. Oh, constructors? No. I have to look with
Connects with a K, like the.
No, it's not those Connects. It's like constructs. They were like different.
Yeah.
They had like a little plastic, and it had like a little U.
Yeah.
And it had like a gray piece, and you'd snap them together. Anyway, and I would build a Johnny 5 out of those, and I would play with my little Johnny 5 robot all the time. So I used to build them all the time, and I thought he looked pretty dope.
Did you ever leave him out in a lightning storm, hoping he would just come to life?
No, I did not.
You know what?
Should have.
There's still time.
Yeah. And then my 4th one, I had a toss up. So I'm going with it, Rosie the Robot. Because as a kid, I would watch the Jetsons, and she when Greg mentioned like doing the jobs we didn't want to do, like she did all those jobs you didn't want to do. So I would definitely pick Rosie the Robot because
she's also like a glue robot. She just filled in the gaps that wasn't being filled by the rest of the Jetson family.
Exactly. Like she was the backbone. And without her, I don't know what the Jetsons could accomplish because she took care of everything for them. It's kind of like the Samwise Gamgee of the group. She really carried the burden of the household to get the Jetsons to do whatever else they needed to do. So
Greg,
those are my 4.
Greg, were you expecting Sam to be compared to Rosie today? Like we're already going. This is deep. There's some deep stuff happening here.
I have one that would be friends with Rosie. I mean, I like Rosie because she was also a little bit sarcastic and sassy, and that she was really cool that way. I like
had the personality.
Yeah.
Greg, why don't you go? I'll close it out. Let's see what you got.
Okay, thank you. I really appreciate
Pressure on.
I know. I was going to let you off the hook.
He's going to say his 4, and it's going to be complete silence.
Yeah. Here we go.
No, so 2 of them are a little bit older. 2 of them are more recent. I watched Giant Robot with my kids and, made them watch it. And they said like Iron Giant is so much cooler, but I don't know if anybody knows Johnny Sacco and his giant robot, but you would see some actor in a big robot suit walking around stiffly, and then they would cut to this enormous hand that was like bigger than an automobile, and you would see this little kid hop on, and then they would show the giant robot flying around with Johnny Sacco. I thought it was great. It was really, really primitive, but giant robot I love.
It also tells me how much you love Godzilla because you look just like guys in suits.
It is totally guys in suits crushing cities.
Yeah. I mean, don't we all?
Yeah. But yeah, so I love Giant Robot. A more contemporary one is Wall-E. I mean, Wall-E is like just so great and lovable, and
Well, you want to talk about great design.
Also great design.
He's a
and I just feel so much affection for Wall-E, and my day-to-day life is making sure that we're not all floating around in pods, not walking
600 pounds.
Exactly. So Wall-E, I think he's a real hero. And innocent in a way that's really great. I mean, I know this is cliche, but R2-D2 from the time I saw the first Star Wars, the greatest. Yes. And by the way, I really feel like it's, you're either a Rolling Stones or a Beatles fan. I think you're either a C-3PO or an R2 fan. And because there's a lot of humanoids running around out there now, there's a lot of C-3PO, but, I'm really Camp R2, Camp Droid. Definitely Camp Droid.
I'm not going to...
Go ahead, Charlie.
I'm not going to lie, Greg. I thought you were going to say the Mouser droid.
The Mouser droid's cool. No, you know what? So my fourth one that honestly I love the most, and this one is maybe obscure. If you've seen Interstellar, there are these robots called the TARS.
Yeah.
Oh man, they are so good. Like their motion is so
subtle. So creative, and it was practical too.
Yeah. They're like these refrigerators, but they move in this super elegant way. And is one of those kind of depressed robots, and very sarcastic, and that tons of personality. I love the TARS robot.
I sense a theme with you. You want your robots to kind of keep you in check.
Okay, I didn't know that, but okay,
I like it.
Well, it's free therapy.
Yeah, I like it. All right, let me give you. I like your list, like everyone's list so far. Let me give you mine. I started going back, looking through all the things I've watched through the years and just looking for different robots, trying to remember some things. The first one, the two I have, two of mine have been said the whole time. I got to, again, shout out to R2. Listen, I'm Team R2 all the way. He wasn't on my list. He's my honorable mention, but just the sassiness, the attitude. Like if I'm going to war, that dude's with me. Like he will take everyone out. He's cursing at me clearly.
He can shoot a lightsaber out of him.
Yeah. Right. And I'll catch it somehow. Like 3PO is like 600 languages and 600 forms of anxiety. But R2 is like that guy. And I'm with it. But I had to start with Twiggy from I think it's Twiggy. I can't remember the name from Buck Rogers.
Yeah.
Buck Rogers. Twiggy. Yeah, Twiggy. I had it. Yeah, I couldn't remember the bitty. Listen, I had one TV in the house. You watch what your father was watching. It came out like 79 to 81. And I obviously syndication, and I remember sitting and watching Buck Rogers with my father all the time. That was my first experience of robot with personality as a kid. That just like, oh, it's not just like a robot like you would think. And then I started scrolling through. So I'm like, and then this was one of my favorite shows. This is one of my deep cut shows from the 80s. I love Small Wonder, and I don't watch.
Right.
It's funny. I thought about Vicky, but
Small Wonder. I love that show. It did with Greg. Do you know the show? You remember Small Wonder?
No, I don't know this one.
Okay, so Small Wonder was this show in the 80s. It went like 4 or 5 years. I mean, it was like 10 or 11 years old. It's about this scientist who builds a robot that resembles a little girl. Kind of weird when you hear about it now. And then he keeps it, puts it into his family, like his daughter. Or maybe it was his cousin or a niece or something. I'm not sure how
like it became a family member.
But basically, it's a classic sitcom, but she's a robot. So and then we have a lot of the elements which I like, which is that robot who wants to kind of feel like they're human in like a sitcom form where she's saying
Right.
things
Because
and-
no one else knows she's a robot.
right. She wears the same outfit
comedy
every day to
ensues.
school.
But
you know,
she's
it's
clearly a robot.
clearly a robot. Like this, I know. Well, it's just how do you not see that she's a robot? It should have been that one person. Like that's a robot. Like what are we doing? He works in a company. Why do we? Loved it. The other two has already been said. I have to go with Optimus Prime. I cried when he died. I was in the theater. I was getting choked up. My dad left, came back, went, I don't know if I can sit to this. Prime's dead. I don't even know. That was my Prime was a robot and a philosopher. If you Google Optimus Prime quotes, there's some deep yearbook level stuff there. Like he really was always just dropping gems of wisdom.
Him and
like,
Magneto.
Yeah, it was like, you know what? I'm sorry, Dad. Like I'd apologize for stuff and I'd make up with my friends. And then of course, as a Star Trek person, Data, which is my favorite because it was in addition to the
but very similar to Small Wonder,
except for the one part where his deadpan humor is hysterical. We have the fact that one, he wants to be human a lot, and then they give him a chip, and then they get rid of it because they want him to be, it's funny. But when he doesn't have it, his just deadpan humor or him with Worth at any moment was funny because he doesn't get certain things, goes over his head.
Well, you could
Those
would
would
play
be
a
my
famous
four.
game called "Is it a robot or a British person?"
Yeah. That's my list. I like everyone's list, though. I think we did a good job here. We covered the gambit.
I thought we'd have much more crossover. I like how we all kind of went for our little niche as well.
Greg, would you put Mecha Godzilla on your list? Because I know it exists.
I'm really
didn't
not
put villain.
into robots simulating real things. I like robots to just be robots. So I have, a handful of Mechagodzillas, but they're not in like the rotation on the shelves.
Right.
Do you have a Lego Mechagodzilla?
I do. I
Oh,
do.
excellent.
I even have a little tiny one.
I just would like to point something out. Godzilla is not real, so a Mechagodzilla isn't necessarily imitating a real
Charlie,
thing.
just because we haven't
Okay.
seen it doesn't mean he's not real.
I know.
First you
don't
tell
know.
me I like robots that keep me in check. Now you're telling me Godzilla's not real? What are you talking about?
We're not going to talk about Santa. We're going to move on to our next topic. All right, before we jump to some other things, I got to ask you this. Do you think Hollywood has helped or hurt how people imagine technology and AI? I mean, we talk about some of these robots that exist and how they portray. What do you think?
Well, it's uncanny how Hollywood, like we talked about the Jetsons. I mean, so much of that stuff, 3D printing, self-driving cars, microwaves, all these things, the Jetsons was there early. And I do kind of think Hollywood is very good at putting some things out there that it gets the sniff of before they're real. And I take it pretty seriously. And, if you were asking me about ChatGPT, I'd say Hollywood usually makes that as a dystopian movie.
Yes.
The AI. So it doesn't always make technology dystopian. I mean, I was involved with a movie where the director was talking to architects and said, look, I don't want this to be dystopian. I just want to know what the future is. And I'm trying to show the future. And that was Minority Report.
Well, that was a really nice depiction of technology.
Yeah. It was, I would say, neither utopian nor dystopian, but kind of on the nose.
Well, especially with the targeted ads.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, they are right on.
That was wild. Yep.
I love when science fiction influences real science. Like you can see that definitely just with the design of early cell phones with like Star Trek communicators. And, I love when that kind of thing happens because so often science impacts science fiction, but it goes the other way too.
Yep. Absolutely. No, so I think Hollywood in general gives us a view and then we can react to that. And I really think that it's important that it's putting these things out there and you can react to it. And you can tell a lot about a person by the kind of science fiction they like.
Today, I taught a lesson in science, and we were just talking. It was actually my first science lesson of the year because we started off with social studies. Now I'm doing some science, and we're talking about phenomena. And I said, well, what does science have to do with asking questions? And I said, well, without questions, we wouldn't have science because science's goal is to answer questions. And I feel like people And you might have watched these movies and said to yourself as a kid, it's like, wait a minute, can we make robots? Can we do these droids? Can I do shrink ray? Whatever it is that we see. And then people, engineers, started filling around with stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Todd,
But then you also get the Jurassic Park problem.
Well, that
just
happens.
because you can do something doesn't mean you should.
Mhm.
I mean, I think you should just go ahead and do it. All right. No. Okay. All right. Greg, are you having fun so far?
I'm having a guess.
I can tell. I can see the joy in your eyes. We got more to do. We want to talk to you, ask you a bunch of questions about a bunch of stuff we're wondering, and we're going to do that in our building meeting.
Come on down to the building meeting. Come on down today. There's many things to talk about. Yes, you have to stay. With urgent things to discuss. So lose that face of disgust. No, this couldn't be an email. So come on down today. Building meeting today. Oh yeah, it's the building meeting today.
So, Greg, you are leading the Piaggio Fast Forward, a subsidiary of the Piaggio Group that gave us the Vespa. Now, how did that company go from designing iconic vehicles like the Vespa to teaching robots how to move throughout the world? How does that happen?
This might be a little bit longer than it should be. I'll try to make it as quick as I can.
Take your time.
Take your time.
They pulled together some of the smartest people they could get to come talk to them about what was happening in the United States, because they're an Italian company. And this is
Wait,
a
hold
time.
on. Nobody asked any of us, though.
I'm sure they would have if they met you. So they brought in maybe a dozen people to Monterey, California, to have a 2-day discussion of what was happening. And what was happening at the time is self-driving. We're a 10-year-old company, so it's 10 years ago. Self-driving cars were being promised. Bird scooters were all over certain cities. So ride sharing was around, and people were talking about food delivery robots, even though they hadn't happened yet. And, you know, I went last in a presentation, but I think every single one of the 11 people that went before me, because they knew Vespa and they knew Italy, they all said the same thing. They said, we think you should make a pizza delivery Vespa that autonomously delivers pizzas. And one person even said, and we should solve the problem of how to throw them into the house so that you could just get them while you're on your couch.
And so it would be like on the side of the Vespa, and it just shoots out.
Frisbee style.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it spins.
And this is why I love these investors and these partners. They said, you know, this was a guy named Roberto Colanino, who was maybe 80 years old at the time. He said, I don't want to live in that world. I don't want my kids to live in that world. I don't want my grandchildren to order a pizza on the phone while they're playing a video game and have a pizza come through the window or have a burrito come through the window and land on their lap.
So that counts as the dystopian future?
Yeah, that was they what they were hearing was it was a dystopian future. They said, we think that technology should make people more human. We make Vespas, wind in your hair, going to meet your friends and have a gelato. They're like, we want machines that are going to get people out in the world, socializing, having a better quality of life. We don't want to have them on their couches. And so they really threw down the gauntlet and said, think up machines and mobility that's going to make people happier, healthier, more human. And it was really from them that we got started. And that's what made me, I mean, I was just there for an afternoon, but that's what made me really fall in love with this idea. And that's how we started the company.
Wow. So when you're designing something like a robot that moves through all these human spaces, what's the most important, like, how does it look or how does it feel to interact with? Like, what is it that you're focusing on?
So I started off as the chief design officer. There was a partner of mine, Jeffrey Schnapp, who was CEO. And I bought copies of a book by an animator named Chuck Jones. And I gave this Chuck Jones book to everybody. And Chuck Jones, he did Daffy Duck.
Yeah.
Yeah, Roadrunner.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So, and he was a philosopher too. He would say just these gems, but he's most known for saying the character is expressed by its motion, not by how it looks. And if you think about all those characters, Foghorn Leghorn,
Yep.
you know, it's how they move that gives them their character. It's not really what they look like. And so when we started, we said, look, let's focus on pedestrian etiquette, like how people walk around, how comfortable they are with each other, how you hold a door for somebody and they go through the door, this kind of stuff. And that's really how we started our design. The shape, we're proud of it, but pretty much it's just a slippery shape with no corners. So it doesn't hurt you if you walk by it. But really what gives our robots the most personality is how they move around.
To add some personality to it, can you put one of those bicycle flags on it with the little triangle on the back?
We have put those on so you don't trip over
So
them.
it really will look like R2D2.
Yeah.
That's what we do. Okay.
But
All
I mean, what's the coolest thing we do? My coolest thing day to day is we don't sit around and it's not like Wayne's World where we say, would it be cool if we did this? What we do is we hire people from the Boston area to come in and put on motion capture suits, those black suits with the markers on them. And we don't tell them what they're doing there. Otherwise, they behave like robots. But we tell them, you know, hey, will you two walk through the door? And we record them with a motion capture system at a super high resolution. And we have this enormous data set. And we turn human motion into algorithms. So our robots, they stay as close to a person when they're following them as people are comfortable with. And by the way, it's shocking how comfortable people are with somebody close behind them. They know if you're walking down a hallway, how to let you know that they're going to go to the right or the left. They actually do that better than humans do. We really put human motion and awareness on the robots. So mostly for bystanders, when you see a person walking around with a robot or you see one of them driving around autonomously, you feel like they're that you can trust them. But yeah, what shape they are doesn't matter as much as that they're well-behaved pedestrians and they behave like good citizens.
That's important.
All right. So I have just one more question. I became kind of obsessed with this G1T4 M1N1, which, you know, just rolls off the tongue. I know.
It does, doesn't it?
Yes. Now, can you explain to the listeners exactly what the G1T4 M1N1 is, and how did the design team come up with kind of the Star Wars astromech inspiration?
Sure. So before we partnered with Lucasfilm and Disney to do a Star Wars robot, we made these robots which are capable of carrying 25 pounds for the ones, Gita Minis, and 50 pounds for the Gita Pluses. And what they do is, for people that live in walkable suburbs and walkable cities, but they still get in their car to go to the park, or they get in their car to go to school, it lets you put your stuff in a robot and walk. You know, whether it's a mile, they go 21 miles on a charge, but they can follow a person and they can follow them around outdoors. So it's a little ball, kind
It
of.
looks like a cooler.
It looks like a cooler when you lift the lid up because the volume is very similar to a cooler. So, but when the lid is closed, it looks like a little, we call it a mochi, but it's like a sphere, but it kind of comes to a point at the bottom, and it balances itself, not because it needs to have two wheels, but because to keep up with a person and stop as quickly as a person, we need to throw their weight around. Again, like a Chuck Jones cartoon character.
Yeah, yeah.
So they're very expressive in the sense when they start up, they lean forward and they speed up and the wheels come under them and they get straight up. And when they're going to stop, they lean back and they brake. So it's like this little ball that's moving back and forth over two wheels.
It's almost like the way BB-8 moves.
Very BB-8-ish, definitely. Mechanically different, but
Yes.
Right.
expressively very similar.
I have another question. So a lot of sci-fi worlds, the fantasy worlds, we talked about a few of them, Star Wars, even Iron Man at this point, Blade Runner, make technology feel basically alive. So in your opinion, how close are we to that kind of relationship with machines?
I mean, the Star Wars, by the way, they came to us. Disney came to us. I think the reason why is because our robots, they move like we do. So they're polite, but they're robots. I mean, like you said, it's like a cooler.
Yes.
It's like a cooler that it stays behind you and you can walk through a crowd and you can, walk on a sidewalk and you can trust it and it's there. And it's very much like R2. I mean, R2 he's not leading, but he's always there and he's always kind of augmenting and helping out and, sometimes, gets stuck, but is, more or less, that's what we did. We delivered on it. We didn't mean to make R2, but we did mean to make a robot that was going to be with a person rather than replacing a person.
So if your robots looked eviler, it wouldn't have been Star Wars that reached out. It'd be like James Cameron and Terminator.
Well, I mean, we had some like dark ones. No, we actually, when we collaborated with Disney, the theme that year was, powering the Force. And they were really focusing on droids and starships. So that's why we went the direction we did. And we were very inspired by Cheap. I don't know if you know Cheap.
The droid?
The astromech droid. Yeah, one of the real early astromechs, CH-33P.
I have to look at that one now. See it. Who would know this reference would be Mr. Hewitt. Mr. Hewitt would be like, oh yeah, I know all about that guy.
Yeah. I mean, kind of like the granddaddy of R2 would be Cheap.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we could have totally done a dark side droid, I think. I mean, there are plenty of them.
I mean, do you have the dark side droids that you did make? You're just not telling us locked in a room somewhere and you're hoping they can't figure out their way out. Like you're like, if they get out. Like
No, it's the day he gets fired or like removed. He's like, release the evil one.
You're gonna see all kinds of black ones with red lights.
Destroy them all.
And it's gonna be ready. It's gonna be called 3V1L.
Exactly.
And it's going to be like,
we can write this, guys.
I know.
It's going to be real Order
We're gonna work
66.
together.
Is that the problem?
Yeah.
Run code.
All right, so we got to stay on Greg's good side.
Yeah. If you were a kid today, you'd be like all over Roblox. But for kids and students who listen, someone who loves art and science. My son actually happens to be a freshman at NYIT studying architecture. He has the similar story as your path as growing up, loving to play with Legos and building things. And like I said, loves Minecraft in the time that he's living in here. What is your best advice for these kids, that want to build a career that combines both their love of art, which you said, and then science?
Well, I really think you don't have to do your homework first. So it really is about picking something you're good at and picking something that's going to contribute. and I really think that I've had a very diverse career. A lot of the people that are working with me now, they've all had very diverse careers. It's not like they decided when they were 12, I'm going to learn how to program in C++. I mean, by the way, I did have like an old Apple II Plus and a Commodore 64, all that stuff. I learned programming, but it's not really the important thing. The important thing is deciding how you want to contribute and do something that's, valuable to you, but also valuable to other people. And I think
like teaching.
Exactly like teaching. Exactly like teaching. No, and I just think too much technology gets tracked into, you should start a company up and sell it when you're 25 and then go buy an island or something. That's really, people that go on that track just to be successful, it just doesn't work out. Even if they're successful, it doesn't work out. They're not happy.
We all know that real success is building murder robots and not telling anyone.
I mean, he's right. He's probably not wrong there. All right, listen, Greg. I know you're going to stick around a little bit longer. It's going to be pop quiz with the Fandalorians, but McDonald. We got some sponsors to hit. Can you tell us about the sponsors?
All right, let's talk about how you can support the show. If you're buying or selling a home, we want to thank our oldest sponsor, Adler Real Estate Group. If you mention the Fandalorians, you can get up to $5,000 back at closing. Now, you can also grab some merch. I know my sister-in-law just bought a Fandalorian sweatshirt because I wore it this weekend when she saw me. But you can go to TeePublic. The link is in our bio. All proceeds go to Laney's Legacy of Hope, helping families facing pediatric cancer. And 100% of our money goes directly to the cause. That's Laney'sLegacyofHope.org. If you're on Long Island, visit Red Shirts Comics in downtown Port Jefferson, the official comic shop of the Fandalorians. If you are not local, like Greg, you can go to any comic book shop. You can visit Red Shirt Comics at redshirtcomics.com. Next, say cheese with LJ Photography. From engagements to family photos, LJ Photography captures life's best moments based right here on Long Island. You can follow them on Instagram at LJ_photography_LI. And lastly, my favorite, Kanopy King Party Rentals. Backyard bashes, weddings, Sweet 16, you name it, they've got it. Custom vibes, stress-free setup, and bouncy castles galore. You rule the party with Kanopy King.
Okay, I love our sponsors. But Greg, it's time. You thought you were going to get out of here. We didn't tell you guys this was coming. You seem a little nervous, but I think you're fine. I think you've handled it. I think you're going to be okay. It is time for Pop Quiz with the Fandalorians. Here we go.
All right.
But each one's worth a point. Do the best you can. If you get them wrong, we're going to be the judges. Half of them are opinion questions. Sorry. Here we go. Who would you rather have hunting you to death? A Terminator or Rosie the robot from the Jetsons?
I would rather have Rosie take me out than the Terminator.
She would definitely get you with that vacuum cleaner.
Yeah.
I honestly like that too.
I also think if she killed you, no one would ever know because she would absolutely clean it up afterwards.
Oh yeah. Yo, she's on that Dexter.
You would be a missing person forever. So I'm going to give him the point on that one.
Yeah, no, we're giving him a point. Good job, Greg. 1 point. You're doing great already.
All right.
Stress free. Here we go. We talked about this. Sci-fi has promised us things like flying cars, the hoverboard, robot butlers. But what futuristic gadget do you think would actually be a total disaster in real life? Which one do you think it was like, nah, that's not the one. We can't do that one.
I 3D printed food. I mean, I've had it. And I think I don't think I want to have a lot of 3D printed food.
You've had 3D printed food? Well, I've had hot dogs before, so I'm pretty sure that's 3D printed.
Yeah, no, that's about, you're definitely,
come on, guys.
In the neighborhood.
His evil robots make him the 3D printed food.
Enjoy your hot dog. I'm like, they walk normal down the hall, but they're giving you 3D. I understand.
Yeah, that does
correct.
sound pretty gross. I'm going to give him the point for that.
Give him the point. 2 points. Greg, you're doing great. You weren't prepared, but you're already doing great. Excellent.
I'm at 500 already.
Yeah. All right, question 3. If you can teach a robot to master one human skill, perfect sarcasm, awkward small talk, or the art of pretending to listen? Which one would you pick? Yeah, these are tough.
I mean, look, I'm going to eliminate one because they already pretend to listen. So we've got that covered.
You know what? I was totally going to say that.
Yeah.
And I think
know.
that's the most important sometimes. I just want a robot that goes like this.
You know what? You're smart.
Or every now and again goes, no.
She said what?
But no, sarcasm is, I think, one of the highest forms of intelligence. So I would go with sarcasm.
Yeah, I'm going to give him a point for that one, too, because I kind of agree. I do like a good sassy robot, don't we all?
We all do.
Those make the greatest characters.
Yes, they
Yeah.
really do. They really do.
So really, it's just as we all really just like Rosie.
Yeah.
We do.
I like R2D2, sassy robot.
Bender.
Chopper, a sassy robot.
Yeah.
Bender, a sassy robot.
Yeah, they are.
Johnny Five.
Sassy robot.
Number 4. When the robot uprising eventually happens, listen, it's going to happen. I know we're talking around it,
Not
but this
if.
is going to happen. We want to, Greg, we need to know what team are you on? Are you on Team Humans, Team Robots, or Team whoever has the better snacks and Wi-Fi? It's tough. It's a tough one.
Maybe not 3D printed snacks.
No. That's
No,
not there. It actually says not that. Yeah.
I'm Team Human. Even if it means we have to go back to hunting and gathering, I'm Team Human.
You know what? That was a test. You passed.
Yeah.
That's like when they make you click, I am not a robot.
Right.
Wow, 4 for 4. Impressive.
Listen, no
I
one
don't
ever
think we've
gets
ever had
fired.
anyone go 5 for 5.
No. He's doing good out here. This is a tricky question, though. And we have the exact answer word for it. So you kind of really have to nail this one perfectly to get the point. This is one of the tougher ones every time. Explain how this podcast experience has been the best podcast experience you've ever had and how it's changed your life for the better, at least more than 15 words. We have an exact response. We just want to hear what you say. We'll see how it
2
goes.
parts.
Yeah, it's a 2-part thing. It's tough. Think deeply. Don't just rush into this.
Your teachers.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's nothing nobler than teaching. And by the way, I'm also a teacher. I teach at a university. So noble.
Buried the lead, man. You didn't. We didn't know that.
Yep. Very so noble. And I've never learned as much on any podcast as I've learned on this one.
Wow.
From a television show I now need to watch from the 80s while I was in college, not watching TV, to your taste in robots and how unique everybody's taste in robots is, to really, really good questions. I've never been as
How we
nervous, by the
secretly
way.
found out about your evil robots.
Yeah. Wait, you were
Let's not
never
talk
nervous?
about those. But yes, you got me to say all kinds of things. But no, I really think I've never been more nervous about a podcast
Oh, that's
because you have
exciting.
really good questions.
And look,
Oh,
you
okay.
survived. And you know what?
Survived.
I'm going to give him the point.
That's a word for word what we have on the paper. So this is
Uh-huh.
kind of
Even
weird.
the ums and ahs.
Yeah.
You know what? And you being a teacher, us being
Point
teachers,
automatically.
at no point, actually, I'm going to lie. I totally thought of saying 6-7 at some point, but
Oh,
you're not
Jesus.
going to get that at your you
No.
teach college.
I do.
Yeah, you're not getting that at
Teach
the college
grown-ups.
level.
It's different, but it's
It
still teaching. So we're going to give you the point for that one alone.
That's 5 for 5.
That is 5 for 5.
Congratulations.
5 for
I think you
5.
were our first one ever for 5 for 5.
Yeah.
It's also we're scared you may send your robots against
I think you say that to everybody.
You'd be surprised.
You'd be
We
surprised.
don't.
We've actually marked it wrong before. And they got very offended. I think we had like a what's a better potato chip, Dorito or Lay's, and we just gave the person the other one. He almost lost his mind. So
Mhm.
you'd be surprised. And again, as McDonald said, just in case you have killer robots in the closet somewhere, why we got to play it safe. We
Yes.
saw what Ultron did in Avengers. Let's not mess
Yep.
around.
Or it's like the old Twilight Zone. We're like, oh, the robot was switced to evil.
Yeah, that's the issue.
Or it's what
Why
was
do we even
Buzz?
have
that
that
button?
switch?
His Spanish mode was turned on.
What are we doing? Thank you, though.
Yes.
Did you have fun today, Greg?
I had a blast. I really did.
I think Greg needs to tell us where people can find his robots.
That was my next question. Where can people track down information about you? Where can they find you?
Well, you can go to the Disney store.
What a flex.
Yeah,
What a flex.
It's like,
That
go to
is.
Disney. That's where I am.
Because there's this small
Disney.com.
business, you may have heard of it it's Disney.com.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And there are a couple of them at the Times Square Disney store. So you can go see them there. And otherwise, if you Google GITA robot, you're going to land at Piaggio Fast Forward, where we have different colors. We've got G1T4, M1N1 that also makes Star Wars sounds. That's kind of the coolest thing is
Does
actually
it
that
shoot a lightsaber up, though? Actually, I don't need it to shoot a lightsaber. I need it to shoot my cell phone.
no, it doesn't.
All
No
right.
shooting. No
Well,
shooting.
maybe there's 2.0. We can work on it.
Yeah.
Or are you ready? And if you get a big one, it'll be G1T4 M4X1. So instead of mini, it's maxi.
Exactly.
Look at
But
this.
don't start.
can I
don't
miss out on a
start.
career
We
in,
have
like,
we
marketing?
have a 2-year contract. We have another one coming out. We don't want you to reveal it.
Yeah,
Come on,
okay.
Donald, what are we doing out here?
You're
He's
going to
not
send the
come back.
robots after me.
Yeah.
Slow down. They will track you down and it'll find you. Thank you again so much for joining us. Tell Obi-Wan we said hi the next time you talk to him.
Yes. Big fans.
Get them on the
He
pod.
listens to us all the time
Both of
anyway, so
you.
I'm sure he'll be like, oh my God, I know them. They're great.
Yes.
I bet he's a fan of the Fandalorians.
Absolutely. You know what? We need to cut that. Charles, I'm going to need that wrapped. We need that.
Yeah.
We need that in the beginning of the
Yes.
episode.
I'm gonna make that my cell phone ring.
Yeah, absolutely. We're
As
gonna-
long as he doesn't listen to what I said about the Obi-Wan Kenobi television show.
Just tell him to skip that episode.
Yeah,
Stop talking,
skip that
Charles. What are you
episode.
doing? He was probably listening. He's friends with him. What are you doing? We think it's great. Charlie's just being funny. All right, the school buses are rolling up, so it's time to pack it up. Time to head home. To our guest, Greg Lynn, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm glad you had a good time.
Now, Greg, do you have any social media out there, or are you just a lonely, person that no one can find?
No, so we're all over social media. We're
Okay.
on, you could find us on Instagram, hashtag Gita Robot or hashtag Piaggio Fast Forward. You're going to find us there. We love comments. We love people that are following us. Most of all, we love the people that post what they're doing with the robots, which we also sometimes repost if we're allowed to.
We are
You,
going to.
you should have an Instagram feed that's just people and their robots.
That's pretty much, I mean, they're out in the real world, but that's
Ready to
pretty
call
much
it
all it is.
Peter and me or something like that.
The Fandalorians are gonna follow you. Thank you so much. All right. You can find us at Instagram at the Fandalorians.podcast, the Twitter X vehicle at Fandalorianspod, the TikTok, the Fandalorians podcast. Email us at the Fandalorians mailbag at gmail.com. Text us at 494-3632. For our guest, Greg, for Mr. G, for Mr. McDonald, I'm Mr. Richardson. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll catch you next time on the Fandalorians, Teachers by Day, Nerds by Night.